Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and today let's do some Winter Wonderland operation, doing a classic Lufthansa flight from Frankfurt to Munich. We've got lovely weather here in Frankfurt with quite some snow showers, so this is going to be a full winter operation set. Also, we are flying the brand new Lufthansa Superstar Retro livery, which is modeled after their Super Constellations back in the day. A beautiful livery if you ask me, and a very fitting one for today's type of operation. Now, join me and let's board our Airbus, as always, through the aft doors like Lufthansa crews do, and then we'll make our way to the frontier for today's flight. Now, while we're walking up, let's already exchange a couple of basics for today's service. This is a lovely sundowner service, so I do expect some beautiful views outside, at least provided that we are going to get out of our beautiful clouds today. Now, brand new livery, which is looking really great, and a brand new Phoenix update as well, at least at the time of this recording. So overall, a very interesting flight that we are going to do today. Finally, one more word over here. It's really been a while since we had to do winter operations, and this winter is just incredibly crazy with all the snow showers that we have, so this is really gonna be an interesting one. Okay then, let's take a seat. Our scheduled off block is at 16:15, so we have 25 minutes to get our aircraft ready. So let's get started. We've got the engine master levers off, mode selector norm, the weather radar is off, landing gear lever down, and the wipers are selected off. Now the batteries are checked and on auto, external power is not connected, but we are going to be using the APU today anyway. Now, for our radios, we'll be using 122.8 and 121.5, as we will be flying this one on VATSIM. I'm kind of hoping that some ATC may be showing up on a Sunday afternoon at this time, but we are going to see about that. Now, our ACPs are set. Let's do the APU fire test. And that is looking wonderful. The APU is running anyway, external power is not available. Now, never accept an airplane with the IRSs already aligned, so we are going to turn them off. Let's give it a couple seconds and then we will be turning them right back on again. So, a couple seconds are over, 1, 2 and 3 are coming back online. Now, I just see a little mistake in the aircraft here. This one is actually supposed to have the analog standby instruments, so let's go ahead and switch that on. It also doesn't have a brake fan, but it does have a DDR-MI. Okay, and that's it. Now from here, very quick check, no LDAF, no nothing go around. It's an old Lufthansa aircraft at the end of the day, and this is looking fantastic now. Okay, beautiful. So that stuff is now done. IRSs are switched back on, then we can set up our cockpit lights, and I am going to just turn them all the way up. So those, and those. Okay, that is looking good. I'm also going to turn the floodlights. Actually, no, we don't need them yet. It's still more than bright enough here. Alright, so all that stuff's done. Then let's go down into the electronic flight bag and let's import our Simri flight plan. Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, aka die Lufthansa 114. So, weather charts, fairly easy today. Quite a bit of severe icing below level 200 reported in the area around Frankfurt, which is kind of expected. And for the weather, Frankfurt gives variable winds, light snow, and temperature 0 degrees. Recent snow, temporary snow. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking at. Munich is good at the moment, but becoming also light snow. And as you can see, that's pretty much what's in the forecast over there as well. Our alternate is Erfurt. You might be wondering why. The reason is quite easy. Everything that would normally make sense, think Frankfurt, Stuttgart, Nuremberg, Zurich, and even Salzburg, is all snowy. So none of those is really a viable option. Erfurt is beautiful though, clear skies. That weather is only going to come in over the night, so Erfurt is a good choice as our alternate. Now checking the OFP, departing 16:15, we will be in Munich just on time. We are good on all our weights, cruising in level 230, and then we can go down to the fuel and make a decision there. Now, we do have quite some alternate fuel, however, Munich is supposed to get some snow as well. It's on the meta already. So for that reason we will be taking some half an hour extra in case of snow clearing. So half an hour is 1,200 kilograms, plus we will have to de-ice the aircraft here, so for that we'll take another, well, yeah, let's say another 300 kilos. So we'll add 1,500. That means we got 5.2 plus taxi, so that's going to be 5.4. Then adding 1,500 is 6.9 tons of fuel that we are going to take for today's flight. So let's go into the mass and balance. Fuel, 6,900 kilos. Okay, apply and load. And we can use GSX for both boarding and refueling. Alright, now that that's all settled, we can go ahead and do preliminary takeoff calculations here. Runway 18, the surface is wet, and we'll take intersection mic because they are using... Interesting, okay, yeah. Synchronized preliminary load sheet. Okay, and we'll take intersection mic. And that's definitely going to be with engine anti-ice on. That gives us a flaps 2 takeoff at 55 degrees. Speeds are looking fantastic. And the performance limiting takeoff weight is 98 tons basically. So we are good to go over here. Alright, lastly, let's check that we got the correct charts, and that should be done automatically already, and indeed that is looking fantastic. We do not need this, this, or this though. Okay, lovely. So with that, our EFB is completely prepared. Then we can go over into the aircraft, and down here we are going to do the recall for 3 seconds to bring up anything that it may have left from the previous flight, but that's all good. There is nothing in the logbook or the MEL. The aircraft is an A321 with the V2500 engines and no automatic nav on go-around. We've got no OEBs today, and with that our aircraft is accepted for the flight. Now, before the walk around, we check the oxygen pressure is good, the hydraulic quantities are full, the engine oil is full, the flaps are up, and that agrees with the lever, ground spoilers are retracted. Then we can release that parking brake and test the alternate brakes, which are looking good, and the parking brake is set again. Alright, so with that our preliminary cockpit preparation is completed. Then let's ensure that all those lights are on. And then we can head out for our walk around, so do join me. So we'll just have to jump down here, right into the snow, huh? Alright, let's have a look at this absolutely fantastic livery. I mean, just look at the resolution over here, really do like that. So our static ports are clear of anything. Then we got nose landing gear, which is in a good shape, doesn't show any signs of damages. Even the parking brake satellite is working. Didn't expect that on such an old aircraft. Okay, so moving up to the front, our pitot tubes are looking good. The tap probes down there are looking good as well. Static port is clear. And taking a look at the front, the plane isn't bent. That's already looking good. Okay, then we got another static port here. We got our pitot tube, we got the tap probe, and we got the oxygen blowout disc. And then moving along the plane, we've got the static ports, which are clear. The AOA vane is clear as well. And moving along the side, we're getting down to the fuel panel, where I just want to have a quick look. 6.9 looks good. I'm just going to add 100 here, because sometimes they stop the refueling a little bit too early, and then you got to call the fueler back. We don't want to do that, do we? Alright, our engine is looking fine, and then we can move alongside. The hatches are closed at the bottom. A little careful here. Alright, leading edge is looking fantastic, and man, look at that Superstar logo on the back. I really like it. I do really like it. Okay, so looks like all our surfaces are clear at the back at the moment. The engine intake or engine exhaust is looking good as well. Landing gear, tires are good. The brakes are rather worn, but that is not a problem, as they are still within acceptable limits. Alright, and the same goes for the front and for the brake wear indicator pins there. Then let's move along the back of the aircraft. Beautiful livery. I can definitely get used to it. However, it looks like our plane is already grounded. So the airflow valve is looking good. Stabilizers are looking fine. And then we are getting to the back of the plane. Everything here is okay. Nav light is working. No signs of any leakages below the APU. All the static wick dischargers are in place. Leading edges over here looking good as well. And then we can make our way back to the front. So over here we're gonna check the same thing we did on the other side. That's the condition of the landing gear, which is fantastic. Brand new tires as well, perfect for me to destroy them. And then we can quick look into the engine exhaust, which is good. Along the wing, which is all fine. Static dischargers are in place. The red nav light is working, and then we can make our way back towards the side of the engine. Quick look down there, the latches are all closed. Quick look in front, also check the condition of all the leading edges. They are rotating a little bit, but slow enough that we can actually see everything. And that's all looking fantastic. Alright, so over here everything is checked. Then let's get right back inside and let's start to prepare our airplane for today's service. What is flickering here on the terminal? You see that? Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and start our setup. Boarding and everything is ongoing. We are going to start down here on the ATSU. So, AOC menu, flight init, and data requests. Let's also get up the flight plan. And here we go. Alright, so Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, Frankfurt Munich, alternate Erfurt, 34 minutes en route, sounds pretty good. Then let's go ahead and get ourselves some weather here. Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot, METAR, and send that, thank you. And then we can just check what we got already. There's a load sheet, preliminary number 1. There's our weather with a QNH of 999. So that's set once, that is set twice, and 999 is set 3 times. Okay, so that's also checked, and finally we got a second load sheet, which is edition number 2, Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, Frankfurt Munich on the Sierra Zulu, which is our aircraft, 2 pilots, 5 cabin crews, the weights are all within limits, and we got 190 passengers today. That all looks good. Portable water full, and catering is full, and finally fuel in tank 6.9. That's looking fantastic. We can accept this load sheet. And then let's move on. Data, aircraft status, A321-200, V2500 engine, nav database up to date. Init, request. And here we go, Frankfurt Munich, alternate Erfurt, and we are the Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee. Cost index is 20, cruising in flight level 230. Like this. Tropopause 338, ground temperature 0. Okay, flight plan. Frankfurt departure 18, Cindy 8, Sierra departure. Insert. Arrival Munich ILS 08 left, and we are coming in via Rokild, so it is going to be the Rokild 08 transition. Insert, and then we can go ahead and add a new waypoint, which is going to be the Frankfurt Emergency 3. Frankfurt 18, runway heading 176 and 25 miles, like that. So secondary, copy active, Frankfurt Emergency 3, and that thing shall include a holding with 176 right-hand turns and an immediate return back to Frankfurt for an ILS approach Zulu to runway 07 center. Okay, and that is all looking good. Then let's go back to the primary flight plan and add the same thing. So Frankfurt 18, 176 and Frax 3. Alright, now for the init page. Zero fuel weight 67.3 is expected with a CG of 25, 6.9 tons fuel. Alternate 2, final 1.2, and contingency 0.3, giving us 36 minutes extra with 0 wind, and we are going to have a 28 knot tailwind, which is going to give us a slight bit more, 39 minutes. Alright, flaps to takeoff. Let's see about the rest of our figures. 55 degrees, 44, 58, 58. Noise abatement procedure 2, engine out, acceleration 1500. Over here everything is set, and Frankfurt 7 center. Okay, lovely. So that's our setup complete. Then we just need to check our SID. So runway 18 Sierra procedures. Provided that the chart loads. Here we go. Straight ahead, Delta Fox 158 above 800, Delta Fox 171 above 2500. And we got 158 800, 171 2500, and 220 knots. Then 173, 174, 170, 340, and that's 4200 and 5000. And then via Amtix to Cindy. And that all looks good. Now, our weather is giving us negative temperatures, is it? 0, okay. At 0 we need to do cold temperature corrections, so let's go ahead and do that. So, we got 800, we can't really correct that, but we can correct 2500. And if we take the cold temperature correction table over here, then 2500 is basically 2000 AGL at 0 degrees, so plus 120 feet. So we are going to turn this at 171 into slash plus 2620, like that. Next up we have 4200 feet, which is going to be just above the temperature corrected minimum safe altitude, and that is basically in 4000 AGL. So for that we gotta add 230 feet, so that's going to become 4430. And that's at Delta Fox 174, so over here. Alright, and insert. Okay, that's looking good. There are not going to be any problems anyway, but just to be on the safe side over here. And with that we have entered the entire flight plan. Love it. Okay, so arc plan like that. Initial climb clearance altitude 4000. And you can have the same thing on your side over there, and with that our setup is completed. Okay then, let's go ahead and go for the departure briefing, please. We're departing Frankfurt, runway 18, Cindy 8 Sierra departure, initial climb altitude 4000, MSA 4300 plus temperature correction, so that's going to become, well, let's see, 4300, so plus 230, make that 4600, then we are on the safe side. So 4600 temperature corrected MSA, what else do we have? Extra fuel and time. 1.4 tons, 40 minutes. For our taxi, we've got pretty much the entire airport as a hotspot, especially in today's weather conditions, so careful look outside, make sure that we don't run into anything or over anything. Our takeoff has a stop margin of, let's see, I think it was like 400 meters-ish. 636 meters, and the engine outset is straight at Frax 3, climbing 5000, which we are absolutely going to do today in these weather conditions. Apart from that, nothing special, well, yes, a lot special actually, which is the entire cold weather operation, okay? So the aircraft had a taxi-in time of 15 minutes, so we need to consider ice shedding, we need to de-ice the airplane, which we are going to do at the runway, and for that I will leave our flaps retracted, and we are not going to conduct a flight control check until we've de-iced the aircraft at the de-icing pad at runway 18, okay? Alright, apart from that, I've got nothing special, I've got nothing non-standard. Threats for the departure, well, the weather, slippery conditions, all that kind of stuff. Remember, we are not going to turn on the wing anti-ice since we will be de-icing, and that's about everything I got for you. Any questions? No? Lovely, then that's our departure briefing complete. So, refueling is complete, and I just noticed that we haven't even done the overhead panel scan. See, that's what happens when you are that busy. Okay, batteries are looking good. Just waiting for their amperage to start dropping again. Like this, okay. Beautiful. Okay, fire test. Looking good on number 1. And looking good on number 2. Okay, the right side is completely clear, QNH is set, and it is the 15th of February. That's all set, frequencies are set, audio control panel is set, weather radar is set. The middle is done, the right side is done, the FMS is done. Perfect, then we've pretty much done everything. So, cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers removed. Fuel quantity 6,950 kilograms balanced. Seatbelts on, ADRs, nav and baroref, well, QNH, baroref 999er. And that's the cockpit preparation checklist complete. So, how's the boarding going? Boarding, PAX 185 out of 190. Perfect, then, and cargo is finished already. Then let's go ahead and say hello to our guests. Liebe Gäste, einen wunderschönen guten Nachmittag aus dem Cockpit. Hier spricht Ihr Kapitän. Mein Name ist Emanuel und im Namen der Lufthansa darf ich Sie ganz herzlich an Bord von unserem Airbus A321 auf unserem Flug nach München begrüßen. Wir erwarten heute eine Flugzeit von ca. 35 Minuten, müssen das Flugzeug allerdings erstmal enteisen, so dass wir bei unserem Abflug vermutlich noch einige Minuten brauchen werden. Wir werden das Flugzeug dann kurz vor der Startbahn enteisen und machen uns danach dann auch zügig auf den Weg in Richtung München, weshalb wir alles in allem eine pünktliche Ankunft erwarten. Vielen Dank, dass Sie heute unsere Gäste sind. Lehnen Sie sich zurück, genießen Sie den Flug mit uns und wir melden uns dann im Anflug nochmal mit dem neuesten Wetter. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emanuel, and in the name of Lufthansa, welcome aboard our Airbus A321 on our flight to Munich. Today we're expecting a flight time of approximately 35 minutes, but before departure we have to de-ice the aircraft, which we are going to do right at the departure runway. For the time being, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. If there is anything we can do for you to make it more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew, and we do finally expect an on-time arrival. Thank you very much for your attention, thank you for being on board with us, and we are now finishing up the last paperwork and then we will be on our way. Thank you very much for your attention. Okay, they're done. Then let's tell GSX to prepare the position for pushback and departure. And I see a company message there and the doors are closed, so I do hope that that's our final load sheet. And that is our final load sheet, which is in compliance with edition number 2. Zero fuel weight 67.3, which is as planned, and center of gravity 26.5. So that's a takeoff weight of 74.0, which checks against the FMS, and we got a CG of 25.9. Can accept this. Let's have a quick look down here. 26, yeah, close enough. Up trim 0.6. Okay, like this. Perfect, then we are done with everything and we can go ahead and call for a pushback. There is unfortunately no more ATC online, they just all went offline. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, nonetheless, I think we are good to go. So, quick check. No traffic behind us. Alright, Frankfurt traffic, Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, pushing back stand Alpha 36. Okay, before start checklist. So, park and brake, set, takeoff speeds and thrust, V1 144, VR 158, V2 158, flex 55. Windows closed and the beacon is on before start checklist complete. No de-icing over here, and area number 4. Frankfurt Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee pushing back Alpha 36. Okay. So, the park and brake is released.
Runway 07 left, vacated.
Oh, 1 Yankee Yankee, we are 3 Yankee Yankee. Gotta be a little careful there when doing our next couple of calls. Alright, off block 1 minute late. For these weather conditions, I would say that is a fantastic job by the ground crew. Very good boarding, very good catering services, everything's been on time. It doesn't get much better than that, does it? Okay, so engine start sequence is going to be 1 then 2. Engine 1 start. Quite nice, those visuals, aren't they? And that seems to be a beginner in the tuck. So, the engine start is commencing well.
Transit traffic, Lufthansa 957, departing runway 18 via City 8 Sierra departure, Frankfurt Connect.
Frankfurt traffic, Lufthansa 797, right base turn for final...
And here we go. That's a good start in engine number 1, starting engine number 2. Clear 2. So 1 is showing a veil, engine 2 start. So I'll just start taking the timer up there, because of the ice shedding procedure that we may have to do. Okay, engine 2 start is in progress. They're pushing us back to, I think, area number 4. Okay, pushback completed, set brakes. Park and brake set. Okay, so maximum time to in between engine accelerations is 30 minutes, and we used 15 of that when the aircraft came in on the previous flight. So we got 14 minutes. Basically, when that timer reaches 15 up there, we need to do the next ice shedding. Alright, and for now we got 2 good engine starts. Please prepare the airplane for taxi. See you with the clear signal on the left, and have a good day. Bye-bye. So, nothing down here yet. Alright, there's the tuck, and that is a lifter. And then we're just waiting for the clear signal from the ramp agent, please. And there he comes. Perfect. Okay, clear signal received after start checklist. Anti-ice, engine anti-ice on, ECAM status checked, pitch trim. What's that supposed to be? 0.6 is set, and rudder trim neutral after start checklist complete. So let's just wait for the ramp agent to run away. Ground chart, please. Thank you. And we're looking at the de-icing pad west. Frankfurt traffic, Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, taxi to the de-icing pad west via November 7 and Lima holding short runway 18, and we'll give way to the traffic on November. Okay, the left side is clear, right side is clear.
Taxi to stand Alpha 40 via November 7.
Lufthansa Yankee Yankee, please, any information about the visibility in the runway? Lufthansa 797.
Okay, so
Visibility is
brake check,
1000.
pressure 0.
Roger, thank you.
So the gentleman in front is going into Alpha 40. So let's just keep it going very slowly here until he is parked.
Lufthansa 957 passing 4000 feet.
And there we go. Okay, he is parked, or at least he is behind the line, then we can go. The ground, well, to be honest, looks rather slippery, so we will be taking it slow. Left side is clear, right side, yeah, that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying that any vehicle at this airport is a threat, and that could absolutely happen in the real world as well, unfortunately. Alright, November 7, and technically speaking, we are supposed to go on to Lima when runway 07 is active. However, since we are going to the de-icing pad, I'm kind of thinking about simply choosing November. Is there anyone opposite coming? Doesn't look like it. Well, then I'm gonna take the shortcut over November. If anyone's coming, we can still swing over to the other taxiway. Okay, that is looking good. Then, let's see. The parking stand west chart might have some information about the de-icing pads, so let's just open that up. And not really. De-icing pad west, de-icing pad west 2. Well, we're probably gonna go onto the de-icing pad west. De-icing service, pad 2 west. Is that it? Probably. Let's give it a try. No follow me required. So we're at 6 minutes now. Let's take a couple moments to talk about everything that we are going to do. So de-icing the aircraft with engines running, okay, that's the easy part. Now ice shedding is a little bit more interesting. Basically, ice shedding means that while we're taxiing in conditions like these, ice can build on the fan blades. The fan blades are not de-iced by any of the de-icing equipment of the aircraft. So in order to remove ice from the fan blades before running the engine up to full power, we have to run the engines up to an intermediate power setting. And that's what we mean with ice shedding. Now, the FCOM defines how much that actually has to be, and for us today we will be using thrust levers 70% N1 for 30 seconds, and then retard to idle, and we have to repeat this procedure at intervals no longer than 30 minutes, or if engine vibrations are actually increasing. Now, in addition, if there is heavy snow, they say thrust lever 70% with no hold time, basically at intervals no longer than 10 minutes. So these are the two procedures that we have in place over here. And, well, it's not heavy snow, it's just moderate snow that is currently here in Frankfurt. So we don't have to do that for the time being, unless we see the engine vibrations increase. So always have to have a little look on those. And yeah, look at that. 3.5 in engine number 1. Okay. That's a clear case. We gotta do the procedure.
Final runway 07 right, 20 miles out.
So let's go ahead and slow down here. Let's check the area behind us. That is completely clear. Good. So we are going to stop the aircraft here. Okay, aircraft is stopped. Park and brake is set. Then let's go to 70% N1. What are the engines doing? Not reacting to my input. That's interesting. I've never seen them do that yet. I've never seen the Phoenix do that yet. Like the thrust levers are in the climb detent. Is that FADEC protecting the engines here? I need to add one thing to all the figures that I mentioned before. I do not have an FCOM for the V2500 engines. All those figures came from the CFM FCOM. Okay, number 2 is now coming up. That must be a FADEC feature. Oh, look at that. The vibrations went up to 7. It is doing ice shedding there. It's doing that automatically. The question is just, how long is it actually gonna do that? It's probably waiting for the vibrations to drop off. That's my take here. Okay, engine 2 is good already. And engine 1 is still in progress, I guess. Let's cancel those config warnings here. Still got those vibrations on the number 1 here. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If that thing is still doing shedding, then I am just going to release that park and brake and continue taxi. We just got to be very, very careful now, because at some point, when the vibrations on number 1 are going down, it will actually increase the thrust on the number 1 engine to what I've commanded with the EPR there. Okay, so we will be turning right onto November 15, November North, towards the de-icing pad. Getting a little fast here. Okay, and then off to the left.
With 155, Frankfurt traffic, 5 miles final, 07 right.
It's interesting, the vibrations on the number 1 aren't going down anyway. And I cannot command any more thrust than this. Interesting. I wonder... Alright, let's taxi to the de-icing pad. This is going to be interesting. Because I have a theory over here that the Phoenix actually requires the de-icing to take place. Ooh, vibrations now 5.2. Oh, no takeoff thrust, please. Alright, so that is de-icing pad 1 and that is de-icing pad 2 over there. Let's see, I think we selected pad 2 in GSX. Yeah, de-icing pad 2 west. So, of course, there is absolutely nobody here to get us into the pad. And that means we got a request to follow me. Okay, so be it. Follow me is requested. Park and brake is set. And then I am curious now, can we find something about those engines in the documentation here? Phoenix IEQRH. I mean, this is probably just the abnormal and emergency procedures, okay. That's fine, then we aren't going to do that. Alright. But I'm really wondering right now, what kind of de-icing opportunities do we have available in the ground services?
Frankfurt.
Engine fan heating, that's gotta be it. That is of course only done when there is ice on there. Which there wasn't, we checked that on the walkaround. Ah, okay. Where's the...
holding point 07 center by
where is...
November and...
Nowhere, okay.
November.
Well, I don't care, de-icing pad 2 west, that's where we are going, isn't it? Yeah, de-icing pad 2 west. Okay. Well, then we will just go there without the follow me. That's fine, we can do that. Okay, let's taxi forward to the line. And here it is. Stop. Okay. Park and brake is set. Lights are going off. Then let's do the engine de-anti-icing procedure on the ground. So, what's the frequency for the Iceman? Of course it doesn't say over here. In the real world, the vehicles that are arriving would have the frequency printed on them. But it's okay, we'll just assume we got them. So, Iceman from the Delta Alpha India Sierra Zulu. Delta Sierra Zulu, Iceman. Okay, the airplane is not prepared yet, but we will need a two-step procedure, de-icing and anti-icing, and we are looking for a Type 4 procedure, please. Roger that, and stand by until we advise you ready to go. Roger. Okay, so, cabin pressurization mode selector, manual. well, auto. Engine 1 bleed, off. Air, engine 1 bleed, off. Engine 2 bleed, off. Air, engine 2 bleed, off. APU bleed switch off. Ditching push button switch on. Now, check for the outflow valve to close fully, which it does. Thrust levers checked idle, and with that the aircraft is prepared for spraying.
With 155, you can go ahead.
So, request
I can
de-ice.
go. I text you via November. Where do you need to go? Okay, I will go the other way around. I want to go to the parking space.
Alright, so the vehicles are coming.
Frankfurt, traffic
And then we can reset this.
November 8 now for gate Alpha Flight 2.
And then we can already start the timer again for the holdover time for our de-icing. Okay, in the meantime, while we're looking for all that stuff, let's go ahead and determine our holdover time. So that's going to be from the FAA's holdover timetable that they do publish regularly. And there is basically one for every winter, and with that, let's go ahead and check this one. So, as mentioned, we are going to use a Type 4 fluid. We will be using the generic table over here. And now the question is, what type of weather exactly do we have? For that, let's have a closer look at our METAR. So, Frankfurt METAR. We got snow, 2,600 meters visibility, and I'd say it is dark already. Or is it? Nah, probably still daylight. Let's use the worst of the two figures. So, snowfall in as a function of the prevailing visibility table, 2,600 meters visibility, and the temperature is above -1, so that is light snow. And if we took night, it would be light snow as well. If we took the temperature at 1 or below, then it would be very light. Okay, so we are going to use light snow from this table. Okay, so let's have a look. We got light snow, the temperature is -3 and above. And with that we can basically take 55 minutes of holdover time. However, since there is a little bit of rain in there, I would say we take the 15 minutes from the 100% concentration, just to be on the safe side here. Well, let's see, is that rain actually still there? Can't really see anything, but looking on the ground it definitely does look like it. On the other hand side, I think that's just the animation. If we look out here, it's actually all snow. Okay. Cabin pressure. OFV not open. Yep, that is associated with the de-icing. Clear cabin pressure. Okay. Okay, that is looking good so far. So let's have another look into the table. And yep, then we can take 15 minutes to be on the safe side here, as it looks like there may be a little bit of rain on the ground as well. So 15 minutes. I'm not gonna go for moderate snow mixed with rain, because that is not what we have. So we got 15 minutes in the worst case scenario and 55 in the best case scenario. I think that is fair. Okay, good. So let's see. Looks like they have completed the de-icing procedure. Lovely. Alright then. So, de-icing from the Sierra Zulu. So, we take it the de-icing procedure is completed. Fluid type 4, 100% ratio, holdover time start at time 3.6, and the aircraft critical parts are clean. Roger that, thank you, and then you're clear to disconnect. Thank you for your services, see you next time, and most importantly, thank you for actually being on time today. Alright, so let's complete here the checklist. Ground equipment is removed, the anti-icing report is received, ditching push button switch off. Off. Outflow valve check open. And it's open. Okay, at least 1 minute after completion of the spraying operation, we have that already. Engine 1 bleed on, so air, engine 1 bleed on, engine 2 bleed on, air, engine 2 bleed on. And at least 5 minutes after completion of the spraying operation, APU bleed as required, normal procedures resume. Alright, so number 1, let's see. Oh, look at that, the vibrations are down on engine number 1 now. That is good. We still need to do the ice shedding though, but I don't want to do that here because of all the de-icing fluid on the pad. So we are actually going to taxi off the pad now, and once we're off the pad we can do all the remaining procedures. So parking brake is released, lights are on. Look at that, the snow seems to be getting a little bit stronger again. Well, the timer's running, we have 10 minutes until the holdover time expires. Especially since we still see all those, yeah, we still see what looks to be a little bit of rain coming in on the ground down there. Cover traffic, Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, leaving the de-icing pad, taxi holding point runway 18 via Whiskey Whiskey 1.
Frankfurt Honeycomb 27, taking off on runway 07 right, Cindy to Delta, departure.
07 right, interesting. Okay, nonetheless, I don't care. Alright, so we're clear of the de-icing pad. Let's turn on to Yankee. The entire area here is clear and actually blocked. So over here we can try another attempt at ice shedding, which we still need to do on engine number 1. De-icing pad 1. That's over here, isn't it? Well, that's 4. 1 is even on the other side. Okay. Well, if he wants to do that and thinks that he'll get sufficient holdover time, he's welcome to do that. Personally, I wouldn't. Not with this type of weather. Alright, so let's stop over here, and park and brake is set. Now let's do the ice shedding. Looking for 70% for 30 seconds. So, a little bit of vibrations. The engines are still not responding though. What is going on there? I'm kind of losing faith that this is a feature for ice protection. I'm kind of starting to think that there may be something involved. Some bug. Especially because the thrust levers are definitely not in the position and it is recognizing the difference. Okay, well. Oh, look at that, now the engines are responding. Very interesting. Okay, here's 70%. Let's give it those 30 seconds. If the airplane does start to move, after all the ground looks to be rather contaminated, then we are of course going to return the engines to idle immediately. But this is looking quite okay. And now the engines are actually doing what we're commanding them to do as well. That's good. Okay, 30%. Back to idle. And then park and brake is released. Let's go to the holding point. So, after start procedures. Flaps 2, spoilers armed, and flight control track. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. Alright, taxi procedures. That's all looking good. Alright, taxi checklist. Flight controls checked. Flap setting, config 2. Radar and predictive wind shear. On and auto, engine mode selector norm, and ECAM memo takeoff no blue. And I tell you what, with that weather, let's go engine mode selector ignition. Okay, taxi checklist complete. Frankfurt traffic, Lufthansa 3 Yankee, lineup and takeoff runway 18. So the holdover time is good, 10 minutes. The conditions have pretty much stayed the same over here, so that's nothing to be worried about. That is all good. Okay. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Lineup checklist, takeoff runway, 18, full length, TCAS, Tara, PAX 1 and 2, off, lineup checklist complete. So we'll stabilize the engine at 70 for the takeoff. And then we'll go to Toga. Are you ready? Okay, takeoff. Well, the spoiler's disarmed again. Here we go. Okay, 70%. And that is looking fantastic. Okay, takeoff. Manflex 55, SRS, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. .100 knots, checked. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. That's the type of weather radar I love. Once you're getting close to something, it turns from green to amber. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Flaps 1. Speed checked, flaps 1. Back 1 on and climbing flight level 130. So 220 speed limit, that means we gotta maintain flaps 1 for now. Pack 2 on. The automatic flap retraction has already retracted the flaps. So change from config 1 plus F into config 1. All right. So, just gotta follow the noise abatement procedures for now, but we will definitely take a shortcut once we are clear of the cities in the area. Probably not gonna make it on time to Munich, but I can absolutely live with that under those given weather circumstances here. Flap 0. Speed checked, flaps 0. Set standard. Standard, cross-check, passing flight level 57. Now, checked. So, acceleration flow pattern, flaps 0, spoilers retracted, mode selector norm as well, landing gear up and packs on. Alright, so with that we're clear of Frankfurt and we can set course directly to Munich. Let's go ahead and fly direct to Cindy for the time being, and we will definitely expand that direct in a couple moments. So direct to, we said Cindy, but we will get something better in a few moments once we are clear of the immediate Frankfurt area. So that's a course of 115. Flight director is of course lagging a little bit behind, as always. Wow. Look at that. If anyone asks me why I'm flying, here's your answer. Here is your absolute answer. Autopilot 1. And engine anti-ice off. Look at this, man. That alone was worth the entire struggle on the ground, wasn't it? Wow. Just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Alright, passing level 100. Lights are off. I think we're going to wait a little bit with the signs until we are a little clearer here. So, airports. And clear and copy, please. What the hell is that EFOP? Minus 118.5. Haven't seen that before. So, nothing here. Copy that. And we've got cruising to 30 optimum. Well, isn't really calculated live over here, so that's fine with me. And here we go. Okay, so, can we take any good shortcuts? I mean, there isn't much, but let's see. If we fly direct to Delta Kilo Bravo, that should definitely work. So, direct to Delta Kilo Bravo, insert. Let's see if that makes any change to the EFOP, and it does. So, extra fuel in Munich, 38 minutes, and there is no reason for this to be amber, because we actually have extra. No questions asked. Alright. So, let's continue the climb to flight level 230. Flight level 230 blue. Alright, what's the arrival time? 27. What's the arrival time without the star? Let's see, Magat. 54. No. Absolutely no. What is it doing down here? Distance to go, AAA. Yeah, no comment. Something is strange on the Phoenix today. In any case, 27 is what it says, and the flight plan is 10. Yeah, let's fly a little faster here. Cost index 80. New ETA 25. That's probably the best we'll be able to make it. Okay, weather looks okay. Let's release our passengers. Like this. And then let's go down here. ATSU, AOC menu, ADC delay. We had 1 minute. Now that was on, yeah, I don't know. Wrong off-block time recorded, was it? We call that on time. Yeah, ODI, incorrect departure time. Okay, we can send that thing off, and then Free text to Munich station. That's gonna be Moin. Best ETA. On block, let's see, 25. We are going to make a couple of minutes up. Yeah, let's tell them 25. 1725. Grüße, what are we? Sierra Zulu. Send. Alright, company message. Ops, ADC received. Okay. I would have hoped for a little bit more enthusiasm. So, weather, Munich. Let's see what we got. Request is out. And there's some weather data. Oh, look at that. Snowy as well now. 110 at 7, 2,300 meters in snow. Brooms get a 500 broken, 1800 minus 2, 1003. Okay, that's set. Tempo 1,300 meters in snow, broken 500. Ah, lovely. So, 110 at 7, minus 2, 1003. Okay, like that. Engine anti-ice on. And then let's just go ahead and have a look at the arrival charts already, just to ensure that we're not messing anything up down here. Munich, stars north, well, ain't gonna fly that. Here we go. So we're coming in from Rokiel for the Rokiel 08 transition. Here we go, Rokiel. Without any restriction. Yeah, I don't think so. Altitude restriction 110. Here we go, insert. That should give us a new top of descent as well. Yep, it does. So, Rokiel, then we got the edge points at 412. That's checked. 427. That's checked. And then 420 thereafter on the present heading. MSA 3700. Margat is the final approach fix, and that's in 5000. The field is in 1500, so that's 3,500 above the ground. And 1000 to go. Speed, vertical speed. So let's do some more cold temperature stuff. Cold temperature corrections. We're looking for 3,500 feet at a temperature between 0 to minus 10. Let's just call it temperature minus 2. So we're looking at about adding 200 feet plus 500, giving me 40 feet. So adding 240 feet to that MSA. Or rather to that final approach fix. So Margat 5,240, but the corrected MSA is below that, 3.7. So we're looking at about 4,000 for the corrected MSA, 3,900 to be exact. That means anything after that is not gonna play a role here. I'll start. Let's just monitor the level off. And I'll cruise. Here we go. Okay, easy. So, transponder below. Let's see. Nothing down there. Excellent. Temperature minus 36, so we got to keep the anti-ice on. At minus 40 we could turn it off, but don't have that. Alright, ILS 1670 the minimum, plus cold temperature correction 1690. Also, I don't want to go too fast. Let's put the managed descent at 320. Like that. Okay, good. New ETA 32. Yeah, I don't think so. But let's not worry too much about that. When are we going to be at Rockhill? At 09. Alright, so we'll be on the ground at 15. Roughly. Then on block 25, that is working quite well. Okay, nice. So all that stuff is checked. We don't need anything here. Munich 08 left is in here. Down here, everything is set up. Corrected MSA 4000. And extra fuel 46 minutes. Secondary copy active. We're gonna make that runway 08 right in there. Also with the Rockhill 08 transition. And then performance. That's 1690, so 1710 the corrected minimum, like that. Alright, lovely. Then let's do some landing performance. Munich 8 left. We'll call that good to medium. Refresh and apply. Actually, tell you what, let's calculate medium braking action here. Landing weight. We're at 72.3. Let's call it 72 tons. Okay, manual thrust, maximum reverse. Low auto brake, 2168. How far off is the exit? Landing 8 left, the exit is at, yeah, Alpha 10, 2260. Alright, that's working quite well. So, auto brake low is selected. Good. Okay, perfect. Then we've done everything. So let's quickly say goodbye to our passengers. Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, aus dem Cockpit, Ihr Kapitän. Wir haben jetzt schon die halbe Strecke nach München zurückgelegt und werden in Kürze die Reiseflughöhe verlassen und dann den Anflug Richtung München starten. Wetter dort derzeit leichter Schneefall bei einer Temperatur von -2 Grad. Wir bedanken uns herzlich, dass ihr heute unsere Gäste waren und wünschen Ihnen einen schönen Aufenthalt, gegebenenfalls eine gute und sichere Weiterreise und hoffen, Sie auch bald wieder an Bord eines unserer Flugzeuge willkommen zu heißen. Vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight, this is your captain speaking. We've already covered half the way to Munich and we are expecting to land in approximately 20 minutes. Weather in Munich, currently light snowfalls and a temperature of -2 degrees. Thank you for choosing Lufthansa today. We hope you enjoyed your stay on board and look forward to welcome you again on board our future flight. Alright, so passengers are covered. Then let's go ahead and do the approach briefing, please. And 6 miles to the TD, I think we can definitely start down. Set. Level 110 is checked. Okay. So that might turn out a little bumpy there. Fasten seatbelts on. So for the approach briefing, it's going to be the Rockhill 08 transition for an ILS approach runway 08 left. Temperature corrected minimum safe altitude is 4000. Temperature corrected minimum 1690. The go around is a left turn out, climbing to 5000 feet, and we don't need to correct those since 5000 is above the corrected MSA. Now let's just quickly tune Mike India Quebec and Delta Mike November. Like that, because we can. And then we got VOI ADF. Like that. Alright, cool. Extra fuel and time. We are carrying 39 minutes, including the entire transition. So for the approach, thrust idle. For the approach, we will be using flight director guidance, config full and auto brake low. That gives us a landing distance of approximately 2150 meters. We are going to vacate the runway to the right hand side and then slowly taxi to apron 2. Stop margin therefore is about 1800 meters and I've got nothing special here. However, we have to consider keeping the flaps extended after landing due to a possible icing. And that's pretty much it. Any questions? No? Beautiful. So that's our approach briefing completed. Okay, then let's already tune those lights down a little bit. Not that much, but something like this. Lights, well, no, still a little bit too bright to dim them. That's okay. So something like this is looking fantastic. Alright, so I think we've done everything. Ops has never replied, but at least they can't complain that we haven't contacted them. Which is fine for me. Alright. So, a little bit of red here, which we probably don't have to fly to. Let's make a left turn heading 120. So, thrust idle, open descent heading. Just want to stay as far away from that weather as is possible. Looking outside, it looks like we would be diving at like 20 degrees nose down or so. It kind of looks like the horizon is here. That's why you always have to trust your instruments when doing instrument flying. And these kinds of illusions are also why it is so dangerous for VFR pilots to fly into weather where they can't maintain VMC. Okay, looks like we need a right turn heading 130 to get through that gap down there. But this should be looking good, I hope. Alright, anti-ice is on anyway. Can we see any icing? Maybe. There may be something on there. Wing anti-ice on. Let's see. Wing light, can we see anything? Nope, can't even see the wing at all. That's okay. Can't do anything about it. And now it's completely red. Okay. Well, I don't care. Then let's make a right-hand turn heading 135 to still try and fly a little bit to the left of that thing. I'm gonna go into a little bit lesser range so that we can see it in more detail. You keep the big picture, please. And since we are on vectors for the approach now anyway, let's extend that center line. So, Margot 259 looks good. Insert. And pull heading. Heading. Okay, continue the descent. Altitude 5000. Set QNH. QNH 1003 set, passing 11.3 now. Alright, we are reaching those 5000 just about in time, but I have a feeling, since we still need to reduce our speed, that a little bit of speed brake surely can't hurt here. So the question is, where's that guy going? I guess he's probably on a downwind. Let's turn slightly left here, heading 120 to get in behind him. Alright, passing level 100. Lights on, signs on, constraints, LS. And then we got GPS primary with a high accuracy and the mode selector. Yeah, can remain a norm for this approach. Can't see anything outside anymore. Alright, so we got this guy and this guy. Munich traffic, Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, 12 miles from Margot for an ILS runway 08 left. Okay, so he's passed us, then let's make a right-hand turn heading 150. Why did the approach phase activate? Keep that speed. I want to see 250. Glide slope alive. Okay, that is looking quite good. So we gotta lose 1,700, we got 9 miles to run, then we can stow that speed brake.
Lufthansa 957, 5 miles left for step on my Call 20 and I will for the prior Lufthansa company. Lufthansa 957.
Thank you very much. That is Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, 7 miles from Margat on a base, runway 08 left. We'll call you for a speed reduction. 1,000 to go. Okay, approach checklist.
Localizer.
Okay, Bavaref, QNH 1003. Seatbelts on, minimum Baro 1690. Auto brake, low, engine mode selector, norm, approach checklist complete. And since everything is amber now, let's turn it into ignition. Alright, speed all star. Let's help it lose a bit of that speed. Speed brakes are out. Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, 3.5 miles from Margat, reducing speed 170 until 5 DME. Flaps 1. Speed check, flaps 1. Flaps 2. Speed checked, flaps 2. Alright, let's start that left-hand turn, heading 110, and then we are cleared for the ILS approach, runway 08 left. Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, lockstar. And speed brakes retracted, speed 170. Nicely sequenced, 5 miles behind the other traffic, and the guy behind us is 10 miles out, so that is easy going. Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee over Margat, 170 knots, ILS 08 left. Alright. The big picture tells me everything is shit, so then you can also just go down and go to that terrain, please. Because terrain is also a bit of a factor on the approach here. Glide stop star, go around altitude 5000 set. Alright. Glide slope localizer. That looks good. That looks really good. The preceding should be vacating quickly, so I'm not worried about that distance of 4.5 miles anyway now. We'll just fly that speed until 5 DME and then we're good to go. Company message. What do they want? Just don't tell me to divert now.
2,500.
Ops, send delay for 1 minute. We did that already. And in any case, I'm not going to resend anything on approach here. Okay, let's tune those lights down a bit. Like this. Nah, you can stay. I want to be able to see my stick. So, gear down. Flaps 3. Speed check, flaps 3. We're at 5 miles here. Managed speed, flaps full. Speed check, flaps full. Landing checklist, ECA memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. And now we got the typical effect of flying through bad weather. Look at that, we can see a lot more straight ahead when we turn those lights off. That's actually what I'm going to do. Checked. So we have 15 knots from the right. That means the centerline lights should appear somewhere a little bit to the left of us. And I think I got the lights inside at the front there. Yep, approach lights inside. That would never have been possible without turning those lights off. But see, that's exactly the reason why we can do it. Okay, all manual.
Lufthansa 27, vacate and raise your right left.
Thank you, Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee, 1 mile final, 08 left. Land. Checked. Alright, now we see everything, lights back on. Continue. And of course we are going slightly high here, but don't worry, we can still put it in the touchdown zone, so that's fine.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. Drive.
Spoilers, reverse, green, decel. Manual brakes. 70 knots. Man, barely any reaction from the brakes here. It is slippery. Okay, we gotta let it roll to the next exit then. Anyone straight behind us? No. Good. Lufthansa 3 Yankee Yankee vacating runway 08 left, reporting medium to poor braking action from approximately half the runway.
Lufthansa 957 on short final 108 right, and take you for the fiber.
That was really full braking that I showed there from below 70 knots and not much happened at all. So that was definitely the threat of winter operations. Alright, here we are, off that runway. Going to keep the flaps extended here. And here we go, 30 minutes flight time. So start that APU, or tell you what, keep that flap closed for now. Alright, so we can already start the timing for the taxi in for the next flight. And now let's make our way to the apron. Man, look at that snowfall. We've really caught a day today. This is the type of day where you should probably just have called in sick. Okay, you didn't hear me say that. After landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear off. After landing checklist complete. Alright. So, let's get that ground chart. APC East, that's the one we're looking for. Here we go. Parking at 203 today. So, apron 2 and gate 203. Handling by shitport, that's it. Not really taxiing either today, is it? Alrighty, so I think we can already take a little bit of a summary over here of that flight. Overall, very interesting to see how the engines are reacting differently in the Phoenix with this type of weather conditions. De-icing did make engine 1 react a little bit better, and then it was okay, we could fly with that. But definitely nice to see that Phoenix are simulating some of the impacts that this type of operation has on your flight. Now, all the other stuff, de-icing, holdover times getting to the runway, you could see how short on time we actually were there and how much of an effect that had on us getting out. After all, we just had like 3 minutes of holdover time when we reached the runway, and that would absolutely have caused some problems if there would have been other aircraft ahead of us. So that just gives you an idea. And I mean, this isn't the worst weather that we are facing here. They do face some, well, quite some worse weather in other parts of the world here.
957, 180 expected.
So it just gives you a little bit of an idea there of what's going on in winter operations and what pilots have to pay attention to. Now, let's get ourselves into that gate. We're looking at 203, so that's going to be left turn over here, and then 203 is right up there. We can already see it. So, start APU. Here we go. Alright, here's 202. And here's 203. Okay, lights off.
Delta 4 for Echo 2, stand 256, really clear.
Something tells me the jetway is broken and we will have to deboard using stairs. That's exactly what you want to do in this weather, is it? Okay, and stop. Alright, APU is still starting, that's fine. Parking brake set, number 2 is shut down. Waiting for the APU to get engine number 1 shut down. Alright, APU avail. And 1. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay. So, engines are running down. And here we go. So, waiting for them to disarm the slides. We can already order deboarding over here, and yeah, indeed, they're bringing stairs. I can't believe it. If, you know, we're in Germany, so I would guess that the jetways are probably just frozen and broken. Okay, parking checklist. So, parking brake up trucks. Well, trucks are in position, so the parking brake is released. Engines off, wing light off, and fuel pumps off. Parking checklist complete. Well, with that, let's do our post-flight stuff. So the transponder is coming off. The fuel usage has been even, that's fantastic. And the IRSs have been running absolutely fine. Okay, well, now about the flaps. Let's go outside here and have a look. And to be completely honest, I can't really tell. Maybe clear. Yeah, I think it's clear. Okay, let's retract them before they can contaminate. Electric hydraulic pump on and flaps 0. Here we go. And the flaps are retracting. And well, my friends, that's everything I can offer you for today. I do hope you liked it. Leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you are up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Finally, if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. And with all of that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.